game of the week. This is a litmus test for both of these teams. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who started 2-2, kind of funky out of the gate, had that game versus the Chiefs, get blown out versus the Texans, people raising questions, and seemed like they would just have some collective errors, whether it was a turnover by the tight end, whether it was a blocked field goal. It seemed like they've never been able to put together a complete game. And then the Steelers, you can say the same thing, where offensively it seems like they haven't been able to put together a complete game where the defense has been able to keep them in games, and then they get an impressive win versus the Rams on the road. Jacksonville Jaguars have that extra 10 days to prepare for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Trevor Lawrence has time to get that knee healthy. However, you're in Heinz Field. They're 2.5 points favorites. What's your initial reaction to this game? It's tough.
For the Jaguars, this is a team that's offense has slowly started to piece things together. Going up against the Steelers, though, what worries me is their offensive line against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith.
Yeah.
Two guys who are, even with good offensive lines, just really hard to stop. And then the way they've turned the ball over this year, more or less with fumbles. I think that if they can fumble the ball with a team like the Saints or some of these other matchups that they faced, the Steelers can definitely take advantage of that. So defensively, the Steelers matchup against the Jags, I'm a little I'm interested to see. And then for the Steelers offense, they gave me a slight glimmer of hope. If you watched last week's last episode, you saw me promote them out of Guantanamo Bay, which is what they've desperately needed for a long time. No longer Guantanamo Bay Steelers. They are now the nails on the chalkboard Steelers. So definitely an upgrade there. But I think Deontay Johnson makes that offense a lot more efficient. I think that having those two guys next to each other, him and George Pickens, really opens the game up for Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. So my early gut reactions, albeit with that 10-day period for the Jags, definitely an advantage Doug Peterson, but I'm taking the Steelers in this game. I think the Steelers will come away. I think they'll have a good defensive performance and still be a good game necessarily by the Jags. Not a terrible game, but I think the Steelers just have the edge slightly.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough game because I feel like the Jaguars have all of the pieces to beat the Steelers, and I feel like they know this is an important game because this is a game where you have to be able to go into an environment like Acrisure, formerly Heinz Field, with a pass rusher like TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, and be able to come out victorious on that. Because when you're in the AFC, you're going to have to go up against these teams. You have the Colts in your division with DeForest Buckner. You have Will Anderson coming alive. You have Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans, and then you have Myles Garrett with the Browns, and then Chris Jones with the Chiefs. So it's like, this is something you're going to have to get used to. This is a massive test for the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, I think Thursday Night Football gives them an advantage because they have some extra time to prepare and scheme for TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. And those are two guys that can get after it. However, I did see them stumble a little bit on the road in Houston, and then they came up with a big win in LA where Matthew Stafford turned the ball over. However, when it comes down to it, I think this is going to be a close game because I think the Jags defense is going to be good enough to hold down the Steelers in this game. And it's going to come down to who can make a play with Trevor Lawrence or Kenny Pickett. And I have to go with Trevor Lawrence right now. I have to go with Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Calvin Ridley. Travis Etienne is coming alive right now. I think the Jaguars know that this is a game to really be a contender, to cement themselves as a contender in the AFC. They have to be able to go into a place like Pittsburgh and win a game because their schedule gets a lot tougher from here. And then this is just a stepping stone over that. So back-to-back road games, but you do get the extra rest on Thursday Night Football. So I'll go with advantage mini bye in a close game. I'm going to go 24-21 Jaguars.
Okay. I'll copy the score, but I'll take the Steelers in this game. This will be a step. If the Jags do win, I will give them their flowers. This is a big test for them. I just worry about how they've taken care of the football the past 7 weeks. It's gotten better the last couple of weeks, but still a problem that they've had. But I'll take the Steelers 24-21. I think there'll be some TJ Watt highlights, and then maybe George Pickens can get loose.